Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We're here visiting the location where Banu Saad tribe used to live. This is the tribe of noble Syyida Halima Saadia Rضي الله عنها, the milk mother, foster mother of Syyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This was her location of where her tribe used to live, and it is from here that she went to Makkah al-Mukarramah to look and find a foster child to nurse and raise from a young age. The historical story is well known. Martin Lings, in his book Muhammad, based on the early sources, mentioned that many miraculous journey and events took place when they were coming back from Makkah al-Mukarramah with the young child of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He mentions that the donkey in which Syyida Halima Saadia رضي الله عنها was riding with was emaciated and so weak that it was behind every other member of her tribe. But as they were coming back, what happened was miracles happened, and that was the fastest one. One of the blessings of having Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was also that their household was blessed, in the sense the days they would go hungry, that was finished, and the days they faced tribulation, difficulties and hardship was also finished, because they had the baby Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with them, amongst them, feeding them, looking after them. And this helped many of the problems get alleviated.
इधर भी है ना रास्ता जाने का। आज
Inshallah, we'll soon be going to the location of exactly where they would live and nurse Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So we may have to take a couple of turns. And move on this side. You bring on that side. चले कर लो, पीछे वाले थोड़े से करो, आप बना ले, फिर जो है वो बयान करके ठीक। हाँ, अब करीब करीब आ जाए, मर्द इधर हो जाए, फिर कम इन फ्रंट का आज तक सबको आवाज आई। Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. MashaAllah, most of you will be aware that when the Prophet ﷺ was born, his blessed father had already passed away, and Sayyida Amina Rضي الله عنها and Hazrat Abdul Muttalib, his blessed grandfather, they were the main carer for him. So at that time it was a custom and also a practice that like now we have city lives, let's say we think it's spoiled, in sometimes it's a different certain crime and things and other distortions of language and things and culture happen in the main cities. So people want their children to learn the original things and be naturally talented in language and health-wise as well. So in those times as well, Makkah was a cosmopolitan and main city, and which had many cultures, many religions and other things. So it was habit and custom of those people that they used to send their children, babies, actually through surrounding areas which were far desert lands and where they were naturally in the nature surroundings. They were brought up and had the most pure language, pure environment, everything, atmosphere. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was born, so every year at a particular time, people would send their babies, and nursing mothers would come from all over towns to actually take those. So in that time as well, when Prophet Islam was born, and there were many women who came to actually adopt and foster a child. So at that time, Syyida Halima Saadia رضي الله عنها, who lived here, that was her living place here in this remote area. And people used to live in Banu Saad. It was called the locality. Now it is as well called the same. So she went there with her husband and baby. They couldn't find a child, a baby, because they were late. And it's a long story, but just very briefly I would mention that they finally, she's somehow miraculously arrived in the home of Hazrat Abdullah and Sayyidina Abdul Muttalib and Sayyida Amina Radiallahu ta'ala anha. Because one camel, with them, because the camels and other animals and things, they recognize the Prophet Islam is born, and they recognize him. Others wouldn't. So one camel actually brought them there, and there she met, because the camel just went in someone's house, and it looks odd that someone's camel just entered someone else's house. So Sayyida Halima also went behind, and there she saw the Blessed Lady, the mother of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyida Amina radiyallahu ta'ala anha, was there. She saw him, and she didn't like become annoyed or said, "Oh, why your camel has come into our house, sitting in our courtyard." But she didn't even pay attention to that. She welcomed her and offered her food, and then asked her that you are here for. And she said, "I came for a child, baby, and I couldn't get." So she said, "I have a baby if you want." So when she saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam first time as a baby, she lost her senses, and emotionally she was overwhelmed, because she's never seen a baby like this. And when she held Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she felt, she says, so much peace, as rivers of peace and tranquility was flowing in her heart. So, but she said that he is an orphan. She said, "No, I do not want, I don't care about that. I want this baby. I will foster." So that time, then Sayyida Halima radiallahu anha sent, Sayyida Amina sent with Hazrat Halima. While she was mother, of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and was very upset with the saddened with separation of the Prophet ﷺ and wept overwhelmingly, and Sayyidina Abdul Muttalib consoled her that he is going for his betterment, and also there was a danger that actually there were some Jewish tribes who were after knowing that the Prophet has been born in Arab, so they wanted to kill that baby as well. So for that reason, as well as for this, so here was the locality, old village, where Sayyida Halima Radi Allah Anha and her husband, and they had a daughter called Sayyida Shaima, as well as other children as well, Abdullah and some other foster brothers and sisters of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So one of the unique thing about this place is that it's naturally preserved as though it was in the time of Prophet Islam, because all other places mostly you go, there have been some development changes, but the localities which we have come through the road driving, you have seen around mountains and hills, and some you will see sheep and goats, still herds of sheep and goats still actually grazing, and that was the culture at that time. Rasulullah ﷺ would also go with his brothers and with his elder sister with the sheep and goats actually. So one can say that the same landscape, sheep are there, the sun is the same, the sky, only Rasulullah ﷺ is missing. Well, otherwise actually there everything is same. So one can relate to it that actually these were these almost same surroundings which Prophet Islam lived for 4 years actually here, and 2 years the Prophet Islam was here, and then he was taken back, and then Sayyida Halima wanted more to keep Prophet Islam, bring him back, so they brought him back again, so 4 years altogether. And there are many stories about Rasulullah sallallahu, about the sheep, about the goats, and how the goats actually would actually behave whilst in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ, how the other girl would say that we have to Sayyida Shaima, we want to see your brother, you never bring your brother, you say your brother is very beautiful, our brothers are handsome as well, and she used to say, no, my brother is different, my brother's everything is different, his nose is so beautiful, his eyes are so they used to say. And Sayyida Halima then one day permitted her to take, and they also were actually surprised to see the beauty of the Prophet ﷺ in that young age. So many incidents, and also one famous matter I will mention, and then inshallah you can do ziyarah. Whilst Sayyida Halima Abdul Haris was there, once Sayyida Shaima came and said that my brother has been actually wounded by two men. Two men came and they actually opened the chest of my brother, and this happened. She was crying, and when Halima and her husband, they went running down there, it was the place, and they saw Rasulullah ﷺ was walking and he was fine 4 years, and that was two angels which Prophet Islam said came in the beginning who cut open and actually removed certain things from Prophet Islam and filled with certain spiritual which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually commanded. And Sayyidina Abdullah says at that time also a kind of veil was removed between the Dhat and the Ruh of the Prophet Islam. So this miracle also, Shaq Sadr, this happened whilst he was here. So that is the living place, accommodation, if you go up and see. And this is the tree, and when we walk down the tree, and actually where underneath this incident of Shaq Sadr happened. तो माशाल्लाह आपने सुन लिया है, जिनको इंग्लिश की समझ नहीं है उर्दू में मुख्तसर बता दूं कि ये वो बनी साद की बस्ती है वहाँ सईदा हलीमा रदी अल्लाह अन्हा के साथ नबी अलैहिस्सलाम ने 4 साल तकरीबन इस इलाके को अब शर्फ बख्शा। और ये वही पहाड़ियाँ, वही फ़ज़ाएँ और वही यानी बकरियाँ भी चराई जा रही हैं, लोग भी है, तो आसमान ज़मीन वही सूरज, लेकिन नबी अलैहिस्सलाम की याद जो है वो अब भी ताज़ा है। और यहाँ हुज़ूर अलैहिस्सलाम ने वक्त गुजारा बचपन में हज़रत हलीमा के साथ, अपनी बहन सईदा शेमा के साथ रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हा। और उनके बहुत ही अजीब व गरीब वाक़यात जो आप सुनते भी रहते हैं। आप तो सिर्फ ज़ियारत के यहाँ इसी इलाके में वो उनके घर थे, और यहाँ शक़ सदर का जो वाक़या सीना का हुआ वो भी इधर इस जगह नीचे है, वो भी आप ज़ियारत कर सकते हैं। और साथ साथ मुराक़बा भी कर सकते हैं। यू कैन डू मुराक़बा एज वेल, एंड मुराक़बा मीन्स एक्चुअली that you can go back in those times when Rasulullah sallallahu was young, and actually also inshallah visualize and refreshen your memory of this as well. Jazakumullah khairan. और कोई बात पूछनी है तो पूछ लें। माशाअल्लाह। हाँ, एक तो अब्दुल कबीर ये उनको, हाँ इनको फिर दिखा दें, ये ज़ियारत कर लें, और फिर जो आते हैं नीचे तो फिर ये नीचे थोड़ा सा लेके वो दरख्त की, एंड दे कैन टेक पिक्चर्स एंड फोटोज और तकरीबन 20-25 मिनट स्पेंड कर लें। ये जगह, दिस इज द accommodation, you may say the hut or the blessed home was, and here when we go down there is the other but the whole area obviously there were they kept goats and sheep. They were walking around all this area, actually is blessed area. So you can walk about and inshallah see for yourself. ठीक, जज़ाकल्लाह। हाँ चले ऊपर पहले जाके देख लें, फिर जो है नीचे वाला जाके देख लो आप भी।
So to sum up for the viewers who are joining in, we are currently at the location of where Syyida Halima Saadia رضي الله عنها would live with her tribe. She is the noble woman who was the nursing mother of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the camp are going up to see the actual location of where the house used to be, and soon inshallah we'll go to the area where the famous event of the splitting of the heart took place, where 2 angels descended and did, in a sense, open heart surgery, the first ever known on a human being. Further down, inshallah we'll go there and we'll see how. What is profound of this scene is how almost exactly the same it is with the shrubs, the mountains, even the clouds and the atmosphere, almost exactly the same for the past 1500 years. And when you come to places like this, the profoundness of it really hits home, in the sense that you get to really see how the time is an illusion, where hundreds, even thousands of years is completely disappeared, and you get to live history, see how the situation was almost 1500 years ago. So
Well, you don't come down. You don't go up there.
it's amazing to see how
Them behind you. Come down.
amazing, what is profound in all the scenery is how it's still exactly the same as it was, minus the modern day cars and the people. Otherwise, the whole scenery around here is still the same. What it draws attention to more than anything is, if anyone does really want to change, the environment that they're born in, live in, or work in is no barrier to change and being the means to bring change for yourself and others. Because where we are now is ancient landscape. What we are breathing in is ancient air. What we are seeing is also the ancient environment. The smell is also the same. So you can imagine, if you really wanted to understand and bring change, then it could be done at any time and in any place. So now, inshallah, viewers, we will go up this small hill to see the exact place where the tribe and the house of Syyida Halima Saadia رضي الله عنها used to be. I'm not sure if the footage really conveys the actual sense and occasion of this trip, but you begin to appreciate the environment and the harshness in which Rasulullah lived and grew up in, even in the 21st century. Sometimes the internet connection will go due to the location we are in. As you can see, it's literally just mountains and mountains as far as the eye can see. These rocks you're seeing would have been most probably still there from the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They probably played, climbed, hidden, enjoyed as a child in these areas. There are countless amazing stories mentioned in the Seerah books. For English speaking viewers, I'd recommend them reading the book Martin English. Yes, but
even if it's
carry on.
तो ये एक बात, ये वादी है यहाँ पर खराब को देखना, ये हाल औलाद से यहाँ पर रिवाज ऐसा होता था कि तरीका ऐसा होता था कि छोटे बच्चे जब होते थे तो माओं को या दूसरे पेट्स जैसे कहते हैं आप उनको दे देते थे तो यहाँ पर खेलते थे। और यहाँ पर एक दरख्त भी है, जब हम थोड़ी देर में वहाँ पर भी जाएंगे। तो हमारे शायख फरमा रहे थे अभी कि ये वो दरख्त है जहाँ पर ज़मज़म के पानी से गुस्ल दिया गया था। तो ये शायद वही जगह हो, शायद यही वही कदम हो जिस पे हुज़ूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के मुबारक छोटे छोटे पाँव के कदम यहाँ पर शायद चले होंगे।
But it doesn't really do justice unless you actually come to this place and see how barren the landscape is. One of the beautiful stories that I can remember mentioned in the Seerah books is when they had come back from Makkah al-Mukarramah with the child Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wherever the sheep and goats of HALEEMAH Saadiya رضي الله عنها would go, they would come back with full stomach. So as you can see, the shrubs like these would have been essentially the same from that time and era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Goats and sheep would come back full stomach. The rest of the tribe would be surprised and ask Syyida Halima Saadia رضي الله عنها, "Oh Halima, where did you send your goats and sheep?" And she would say, "They went to such a place." And then the rest of the tribe would also send their goats and sheep there so that the goats would feed well, nourish themselves, and in turn give the owners fresh milk, meat, etc. However, when the goats and sheep or the other tribe members would go there, they still come back on empty stomach, hungry, weak, and emaciated. This was a pure miracle because Syyiduna Abdullah was in the household of Syyida Halima Saadia. We are literally talking about this live so that you back home can enjoy. And some of the group members of the tour have already reached the top and are doing some personal ziyarat, muraqabah and self-reflection on how sometimes you can make 110 excuses not to do something, or we may think we're at a very difficult time, living amongst fitna, living amongst temptation, destruction, etc. But really, these are not good enough in the sight of Allah. Because as I said earlier on, time is an illusion, and no more strongly felt than here, because everything you see around you is just mountains and mountains for miles on end, and essentially everything is still the same. From that time. Say some words for those live audience, your thoughts, experience of being in such a place.
How we like walking up these mountains. So imagine how fit the children and the Bedouins must have been. This was their daily activity. just going up and down. Just the daily chores would have been exercise for them, fetching water, food, all of these things. So if you can benefit from the small things in life, appreciate the small things. By small I mean water, food, clothes, clean air. You can appreciate big things in life, and when you come here you start to appreciate the small. It's one of the lessons of coming to places like this and living here, is you appreciate those things. Many of us, we live in developed cities and things like that, and we want so much more from life that we then stop appreciating the small things. And again, they're not small, they're really big, but they're small in the sense that we do them every single day and we forget. So coming back to a place like this, it reminds you of that lesson. That don't forget these are actually big major blessings. If you stop breathing for 3 minutes, you will die. If you stop water for 7 days, you will die. So if you stop exercising, eventually you lose health and you die. So appreciate the small things in life. If you really want to truly be happy, enjoy oxygen, enjoy a cup of tea, enjoy coffee, enjoy waking up, enjoy going to sleep, enjoy the smallest things in life. Then you will be happy even if the big things don't happen. But if you only will be happy because of big things, you'll never really be happy.
Jazakallah khair for these wonderful words. Sometimes, as he said, it's true, we overlook the small things and we aim for the big things. But when you come to areas like this, even the small things look big and you appreciate what you have around you. So we go now here on this side. This area.
For me, it's a hill. So, as you can imagine, this is the time of the Prophet exactly the same. So, can you imagine the time of the Prophet speaking, they witnessed. So, alhamdulillah, you know, this is a great blessing to be here and to witness. For us, mashallah, very healthy, we are very well. We have young man here, Banu Saad. We all go up here very easily, you know, a little bit differently. We've got nice trainers, nice sandals. Like, imagine how they suffer in torture of heat. Now it's windy, it's calm. So alhamdulillah, it's a great blessing just to climb up here and we reflect and think, you know, like, how can we really ponder deeply, think how can we connect this with the old tradition, which is known as the Sunnah of Islam. So the viewers, take a breath and observe the scenery that befalls you.
Inshallah, Jazakallah khair. So just to sum up where we are currently, this gate is closed, I believe, is where the houses of used to be. And as you can see how barren the whole landscape is. It's literally just mountains as far as the eye can see. Imagine the harshness of growing up. So as we go back down the hill, mountain, point trip was to bring home the message that if you want to be a practicing believer, if you want someone to follow, and if you want someone to love, then we have no excuse when we were born, where we are, what we do. We still do it, we still live the tradition of it. So whenever the life does cut out, bear in mind we're on top of a mountain, so it will reconnect and the life will continue. Inshallah, nothing to worry about too much. I remember listening to Syyida where this special event took place where two angels descended and did cleaning of the the flesh of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, known as the heart, after which his foster brothers and sisters came running to HALEEMAH Saadia to mention this extraordinary event taking place while they were playing. So, as I was saying, when the two angels came down and started to do the operation, the heart of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's mentioned in the Seerah book that his heart was placed in salty water, which is profound in itself, because back then nobody would have known that if to preserve the cells and nutrients in a heart, you have to, so not to lose its nutrients, its cells, its neurons, etc., and for the heart to still be alive. So almost 1500 years ago, when the two angels came down and did this event on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Zamzam water. Traditionally, the Zamzam water was extremely salty water. It was drinkable, not like water you and I drink, more salty, and it was slightly thicker. So having done this, Rasulullah Syyida Halima then got frightened and realized that even before so, and this event reinforced it, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this young child she had with her, would have a formidable future ahead of him. So she then rushed back to Makkah to give him sallallahu alaihi wasallam back to Sayyida Amina Radhi Allah Anha. And when this event, whereby she was inquiring why was Syyida Halima Saadia wanting now to return Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam after 3 years back to him, when she wanted him so eagerly beforehand, then Syyida Halima Saadia Radi Allah Anha mentioned the event of the heart operation and the two angels. When Sayyida Amina Radi Allah Anha heard this event, she smiled and she said, she stroked the head of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, big future, a future which will be immense, full of blessing, and he will have the opportunity to make a real change. If you see below, the teacher and the brothers are offering what I believe would be Asr Salah, and then they will hopefully move to make room for other group members to do the same. As this live stream shows and demonstrates, is making room for your fellow Muslim, allowing them to experience what you experience, allowing them to share in the blessing that you experience, is one of the foundational tenets of Islam. Is going above and beyond your needs and your life and your family, and looking on the outside. Sometimes people can fall into a fixed mentality. Happy then, as I was saying, as long as my life, my family's life is peace and happy, then I don't care about the rest. But coming here, demonstrate this notion as being completely false and alien to Islam, whereby it's demonstrated your love and care should be for the wider society, for their wellness, happiness and success as well. Inshallah, soon we'll go back down to where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam experienced this event, as the teacher was mentioning before. And how Syyida Halima Saadia Radhi Allah Anha then took him back to Makkah al-Mukarramah after 3 years. So what we can really appreciate being here more than anything. How this area is in essence. So this area, how this area has stood the test of time and hasn't really changed. No matter that almost 1500 years has passed from that time and now. What we'll do is join the group of where they're praying namaz, and then we'll offer our prayers as well, inshallah azza wa jal. So stay tuned for the view. We are currently at the site where Sayyida Halima and her tribe would live. So these are the areas where young Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his early years, 4, 5, 6 years old, would play, run around, enjoy his time. Oh, it's alright, coming. So the teacher is returning after praying, which I believe is 2 rakat, Asr, Salah. Alhamdulillah. Did you pray Asr? Asr? Yes, no, what? Thank you. Okay. Yes, sir, you have water. I need to do this. I need to ask you to do this way to do it. It's quite nice. Water in the coach. It's the bottle. So, yeah. Have you got something to eat?
Whatever it's called.
Alright, so we've got a couple of puppies there.
These are not sheep, these are dogs.
Don't go directly, yeah.
Yeah, that one's real scary. Which cars? Which cars? I think we'll just figure out. I think so.
Are you in Zephyrs coach?
No.
No, this one then.
Okay.
Those angels will be blessed when they were.
Okay, stay tuned inshallah.